Hello, welcome to BioGrades TV. If you're new here, please subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss our next video. How Sudan got independence. Sudan was the largest country in Africa by area until it was split in two when South Sudan broke away to become an independent country in 2011. But in the colonial era, the whole of Sudan, including the southern part, was under both French and Egyptian control. Until 1914, Egypt itself was in a sense part of the Ottoman Empire. During the 19th century, it gradually extended its control of the Sudan as far south as the Great Lakes region. In 1882, Britain invaded Egypt and it became a protectorate of Britain. When the Mahdi's revolt started in Sudan, a joint Egyptian and French forces reconquered the Sudan. In 1899, France and Egypt formally agreed to establish a joint protectorate over Sudan, Egypt on the basis of its previous claims and Britain by right of conquest. Subsequently, Britain and Egypt administered all of present-day Sudan as the Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, but northern and southern Sudan were separately administered as different provinces. The separation of the two provinces was very clear indeed, such that in the early 1920s, the British passed laws which stipulated that passports were required when traveling between the two zones. Permits were also required to conduct business from one zone to the other. Governors of South Sudan did not attend conferences of Khartoum in the north but in East Africa. In the south, English, Dinka, Latuko, Shilluk, Bari, Nuer, Azande, and Pari were the official languages, while in the north, Arabic and English were the official languages. The British discouraged Islam in the south, where Christian missionaries were permitted to work. The British, however, focused more on the north, developing the economy and infrastructure there. In fact, until the 1920s, the authority of the British was quite limited in the south. The political arrangements there were left largely as they had been prior to the arrival of the British. In order to establish their authority in the north, the British promoted the power of Sayyid Ali al-Merghani, who was head of the Khatmiya sect, and Sayyid Abd al-Rahman al-Mahdi, who headed the Ansar sect. The Ansar sect changed into the Ummah party, and Khatmiya became the Democratic Unionist Party. In 1943, the British began taking steps towards preparing the North for self-government. The North Sudan Advisory Council was established to advise on the governance of the 6 North Sudanese provinces, which include Khartoum, Darfur, Kordofan, Eastern, Northern, and Blue Nile provinces. But 3 years later, in 1946, the British administration reversed its policy and decided to merge North and South Sudan under one government. At the Juba Conference of 1947, the South Sudanese authorities were informed about the arrangement that they would see them in future governed by a common administrative authority with the North. From 1948, 13 delegates who were nominated by the British authority represented the South on the Sudan Legislative Assembly. Many Southerners did not like the arrangement and felt betrayed by the British because they were largely excluded from the new government. The official language of the new government was Arabic, but the bureaucrats and politicians from the South were not good in Arabic as they had for the most part been trained in English. Also, of the 800 new governmental positions vacated by the British in 1953, only 4 went to people from the South. And because the political structure in the South was not as organized as in the North, political groupings and parties from the South were not represented at the various conferences and deliberations that established the modern state of Sudan. As a result, many Southerners refused to consider Sudan as a legitimate state. In February 1953, plans were concluded by the United Kingdom and Egypt on the agreement providing for Sudanese self-government and self-determination. The transitional period towards independence started in 1954 with the inauguration of the first parliament. On the 18th of August 1955, there was a revolt in the army in torrid southern Sudan, but it was quickly suppressed. That led to a low-level guerrilla insurgency and marked the beginning of the First Sudanese Civil War with southern rebels. On the 15th of December 1955, the Premier of Sudan, Ismail al-Azari, announced that Sudan would unilaterally declare independence in the next 4 days, and on the 19th of December 1955, the Sudanese parliament unanimously declared the independence of Sudan. On New Year's Day of 1956, the British and Egyptian governments recognized the independence of Sudan. The United States was one of the first foreign powers to recognize the new state of Sudan. Ismail al-Azari Said served as the first Prime Minister of Sudan between 1954 and 1956 and as President of Sudan from 1956 until he was overthrown by Ghaffar Nimeri in 1969. So today, it shouldn't be a surprise to see Sudan split into two. What have we missed out of this history? Let's know in the comment section. Will it be ridiculous to subscribe to our channel? If no, please like this video, share, and subscribe to our channel.